What's this week's MacMull musing?
Well, I'm glad you asked. There's always an abundant supply of MacMull's musings, but one of the things that jumped out at me this week was that the state of Illinois just last week passed legislation that is designed to protect child social media influencers. The law will come into effect next July, and unlike other laws out there, it is designed to specifically protect the earnings, the commercial earnings of kid influencers. Those of you out there may be familiar with the Ace family, for example. The Ace family is a very progressive family. They have a very large social media following. And some of you may also be familiar with the Coogan Law, which was essentially the entertainment industry's law that was in place in various states, or iterations of it, that was designed to protect child actors. The problem with the Coogan Law is that it does not extend to social media influencers. And this Illinois law does, importantly. And again, it's designed it is specifically designed for children that are deriving revenues from their social media presence. And I think, the kids on the Ace family, for example, they are deriving millions of dollars in revenue annually from I think YouTube is probably their greatest source. So the law is important. And the Coogan Law, by comparison, required parents to put into trust, I believe it's 15% of a child's earnings. But again, it didn't apply to social media. Now, with this Illinois law, it also has to be mentioned that there is some laws kicking around domestically. Washington currently, I believe there's a bill that's been floated that is designed effectively to replicate this, that basically mandates that parents are not able to take control or enjoy the profits of their children's success, but rather have to put that money into a trust. With Illinois coming on board, there's a number of people that believe that New York and California, themselves obviously large entertainment hubs, will be quick to follow suit. When we look at this internationally, France, I think just within the last year or so, also modified its child entertainment laws to also include social media revenues. So I think, when we're talking about this, it's not just in the abstract either. There are, Ryan Cagey, for example, some of you may know that he just basically hops online. He's got to be at least 12 or 13 now, but certainly when he was younger, he was generating upwards of close to $30 million, I think, in revenues. So we're not talking about peanuts here. And the other thing to recognize is that advertisers, companies like Mattel, Walmart, Target, some of the nation's largest toy providers, rely heavily on these influencers. I mean, recent metrics suggest that advertising dollars spent on children and tweens last year exceeded $3 billion, and that's expected only to grow. So I think this Illinois law is really important. I think you're going to see a lot of other states replicate this Illinois law, either at the federal or the state level. And that was one of the biggest things that jumped out at me in terms of what's going on in the world, at least in my little corner of it, this past week.